So this is part 2 of the previous video I just made, where I'm talking about how people with anxious attachment style, how they destroy love and how they destroy themselves while they're dating and in a romantic relationship. So make sure you go and watch part 1, because that is where I started to discuss all the things that you do to destroy love and destroy yourself in a romantic relationship. And I'm on the 12th thing. So the 12th thing that you do to destroy love, especially if you have an anxious attachment style, is that you are needy and you're clingy. And some of the things that you do that shows that you are needy and that you are clingy is when you call them a lot. You call too much. You text too much. Like, you need a lot of time together. You need a lot of communication. You need constant communication, right? And the reason why you do that is that you're constantly thinking about what they're doing, right? Or you could be thinking that they're doing something wrong, even if they're not, right? And this is showing that you're needy and you're clingy, and it could annoy them, right? It could be annoying to keep getting calls and keep getting text messages constantly, and you trying to check on them, or you trying to figure out if they're doing something wrong. This could be annoying for your partner, right? Another example is when you might refuse to leave their personal space. You might be at their house or whatever, and you stay there too long, and you might want to sleep over, and you might want to stay there for many days, weeks. Like, you refuse to leave their personal space, and that is showing that you're clingy and you're needy, right? You might also try to control them by try to control them in telling them who they should spend time with, or how long they should be spending time with someone, or who they should be talking to. Or you get in the way of their friendships, and you could criticize the people that they're friends with. You try to tell them who they should be friends with. This is showing that you're needy and you're clingy and also controlling, right? Asking them to sometimes you might ask them to cancel their plans because you want to feel like a priority, even if they might be with someone else, like their friends or their family or whatever. You try to check in on them while they're with them, while they're with their family, while they're with their friends. You're trying to check in on them while they're doing their hobby, while they're working or whatever. And this is showing that you're needy and clingy. And I'm saying this, it destroys the love, and it's also, it's not a good state to be in, being clingy and needy and always texting and calling and checking up and trying to tell them who they should spend time with. So that is the 12th way that you kill love, that you destroy love, you destroy yourself in a romantic relationship. And this could obviously make them lose attraction for you and not wanting to spend time with you, right? So the 13th way you destroy love and how you could destroy yourself also is when you're possessive and controlling and bossy, monitoring their actions, constantly calling and texting them when they're not around, you know. And I just mentioned that before, but then I'm going to add that you get upset when they don't want to spend time with you. You get upset when they want to spend time with their family and their friends. This could make you, this could be annoying. It could be frustrating, right? Always wanting to spend time with them. Demanding, like being bossy and controlling, is like you demanding to see their phone. You want the password to their email. You want the password to their social media accounts or whatever. And you could also come off bossy and controlling when you're trying to isolate them from the people in their life that they had before meeting you. You're trying to keep them from doing their hobbies, the activities that they enjoy, You're telling them how to live their life. You're telling them what actions they should take. You're telling them what they should do, who they should talk to, who they should not talk to. You're telling them where they could go, where they should not go. This is being bossy, this is being controlling and possessive, right? And now I will get into, well, those are the 12 things that most of them was how you destroy love, right? And here and there I was telling you how it destroyed you. And now I'm going to really get into how it destroys you, right? And the way, like having an anxious attachment style, more than likely, especially if it's somebody that is dysfunctional, that is not suited for you, you would find the relationship to be stressful. So it destroys you by creating stress for you and creating more anxiety. So you would find your relationship stressful and you're anxious very often, right? So it destroys you in a way where you worry a lot if they're going to leave, if they're going to break up with you. If you worry a lot if they're cheating, that make you like can't sleep, you can't function, you're overthinking, and you worrying if you could trust them, you know. And with that, you're over dependent on them because you want to spend time with them. You want them to soothe you. You want them to make you feel better. You want them to make you feel happy, right? You require a lot of reassurance, and then sometimes they don't give it to you. And that is destroying yourself because it's stressful and it creates anxiety, overthinking and worrying, and also wanting the reassurance and the attention and depending on them to be with you and to make you happy. That is creating stress. That is how it destroys you. The another way is that you are highly emotional very often, right? This is taking away your peace. Being with someone, especially if they're avoidant or if they're emotionally unavailable, you will always be craving this closeness and this intimacy, which avoidance and people who are emotionally unavailable, they find it difficult to be close and to be intimate with you. So you would be constantly craving this, and that also is stressful and it's annoying. And you don't want to be in that state of feeling like and wondering if you want too much or if you're clingy or if you're needy. You know, having big emotions very often, like being overly sensitive to things or being impulsive or you're unpredictable. You being in this state of being unpredictable, moody, having big emotions. It's like you're not stable and you're not grounded. So it's like it's not a good state to be in, being highly emotional, right? And it shows that you're not mature. It shows that you're immature and you have not really worked on your emotions and how to control them and how to stay calm and how to stay grounded. And also you might be choosing the wrong people to be with, especially if you choose people who are avoidance. They're afraid of intimacy. They're distant, they're cold, they're emotionally unavailable. They don't understand you. They don't know how to show you reassurance. They don't know how to comfort you when you have big emotions. They don't like big emotions. So what I'm saying is like you're not grounded and you don't have peace of mind. So that is how it's hurting you, right? So the third way is hurting you, like feeling like this is destroying yourself, is that you feel your partner maybe a negative influence. You know, maybe when you're by yourself or maybe when you talk to friends or family, you start to realize they could be a negative influence on me. Like this relationship is not good for me. And overthinking and worrying about this. Like the person that you're with may be causing you to be more aggressive and more angry, right? You already have problems regulating your emotions. And I will repeat, especially like if you with someone who have a dismissive avoidant attachment style, are they emotionally unavailable, are they immature, emotionally, or they lack emotional intelligence. You're always thinking that they have a negative impact on you, which they could have, especially if they're avoidant. So it's like you're destroying yourself because you're with someone who have a negative impact on you, who have a negative influence on you, right? So those are three ways. Now the fourth way you destroy yourself is you feel drained, you feel exhausted and burned out very often in your relationship, especially after you leave their presence. After you're trying to fix them, this is how you destroy yourself. You're trying to fix them. After you're trying to save the relationship for many weeks and many months. After you're trying to change yourself to fit to what they want, you think what they want. Change yourself so they could like you more. Change yourself so they could fall in love with you. Change yourself so they could be obsessed with you. That is draining you. That is making you exhausted and burnt out, doing all of these things. That is hurting you, people pleasing, right? And it's a burnout. It also could make you burn out. Like when you're in a relationship and you're not getting the love, you're not getting the care, you're not getting the affection you desire, that could cause burnout. Not being a priority, being taken for granted, being used for whatever, being mistreated or being manipulated, being left alone to deal with hard circumstances. All of that is draining you, is making you exhausted, and it's making you feel burnt out. You will be burnt out doing all of these things, fixing, rescuing, solving problems. And then you're doing all of that and you're not a priority. They leave you alone in hard circumstances. They mistreat you, they abuse, they use you. That is how you're being drained and exhausted in your relationship, and that is destroying you, right? The other way it destroys you is that it's not making sense to be with somebody like this. What I'm saying like this. Well, to be with somebody who have an avoidant attachment style, or who is emotionally unavailable, or who is just immature, or who just lack emotional intelligence, right? Or who does not, somebody who does not take the time to get to know about your past, your childhood, and your past romantic relationship. Like, this could cause you to have mental health problems, especially anxiety and depression, right? And low self-esteem and low self-confidence, right? So, and we could still hear me with the music. So, having said all of that, what to do, like what you can do to change and have a better experience. Okay, so first of all, I'm really sorry about the music. I live close to the street. I live next to a DJ. So you're gonna hear music, you're gonna hear vehicle passing, you're gonna hear cars, you're gonna hear many things, noise. Hopefully you can still hear me. So this is really disturbing. Okay, so first thing you need to do is to be self-aware, right? You need to be aware of how you are interacting with people, how how you are interacting with your partner, how you are interacting in the relationship. You need to recognize that you have this anxious attachment style and just be conscious of all the things that I mentioned in the first video and here. So you go back and watch the first video, and you would see all the things that, you would hear all the things that I mentioned. You could have all of this. After you do that, you recognize maybe when you're clingy, you're needy, you save people, you have problematic behavior and many things that I mentioned before. You need to have patience, right? It takes time to improve. It takes time to it takes time to improve your behavior. It could take months. It could take years to change. It takes a lot of time to grow and develop into somebody more mature and more stable, right? Because you need to recognize all the things I mentioned before, especially in the first video, right? And then from there, you need to make a conscious effort to change and to do things deliberately, right? In a different way, in a better way. And I mentioned before in the previous video, here and there I was mentioning how to communicate better, how to calm down first before you react, right? And the next thing you need to do is just, which might be difficult, is to be with someone who have good intentions. Try to avoid people who have an avoidant attachment style and who are emotionally unavailable and who might just have bad intentions. You should try to stay away from them. But if you are in love with somebody like that, obviously they should be working on themselves to be better, and you walk with them, right? You walking together like as a couple, knowing your attachment styles and trying to heal and be better, recognizing the different parts of you that I mentioned before, being clingy or being needy or needing a lot of reassurance or having problematic behavior, whatever I mentioned. Like, you need to deliberately change these things and focus on these things and be with somebody who have good intentions, right? Now the next thing you could do while you're in a relationship is it's good to express your needs. It's good to express what you want, and it's good to tell your partner what you desire and have clear communication and do this in a direct way, right? And the first thing you could do, like when you're getting more serious, getting more like involved, or you're getting into a long-term relationship or whatever, it's good to discuss your childhood, how you grew up. It's good to discuss the relationship you had with your parents, right? It's also good to talk about, whenever you are ready or whenever they are ready, to talk about your past romantic relationships and what happened, right? And you talk about how it influenced your behavior, what it did to you, how it changed your perspective. You talk about your side of the story, and you need to not be biased when you're talking about this, right? And this could make them understand like why you might need a little bit more reassurance, you know, why you might call too much, you know, why you might text too much, and you could be working on this, right? The next thing, but this is the most important thing that you could do, is focus on your own life, right? You need to focus on your goals. You need to focus on your dreams. You need to focus on your life purpose if you found that out. You also need to, like, why I'm saying this is like, when you have an anxious attachment style, you kind of focus too much on your partner and you focus too much on the relationship. So I'm saying, like, try to focus Don't forget your goals. Don't forget your dreams. Don't forget the objectives that you have. Don't forget you need to build your self-esteem. You need to build your self-confidence because maybe you have had a rough upbringing or you have love trauma. You might have been with somebody who broke down your self-esteem and your self-confidence and made you feel like you're not worthy of love or whatever, right? You also, like, when you're focusing on your life, you're focusing on learning how to be alone. When you have difficult emotions or you're experiencing you're just uncomfortable with being, like, you just need to work on being alone and not reaching out to them and not depending on them to make you happy or to change how you feel. So you need to work on being alone. You need to do things that grounds you, do things that make you happy, that make you feel peaceful, that make you feel grounded without them, right? That is working on your own life. Doing things to make you feel grounded, peaceful, things that you enjoy, right? Do things you enjoy. And doing all of that, you will formulate a life that suits you, right? Stop focusing on relationships so much and stop focusing on them so much, right? Let them come to you sometimes. Especially if you have anxious attachment styles, I'm suggesting to you to just relax. Don't solve their problems. Don't try to save the relationship. Let them come to you, and as I mentioned before, you can see how they really are, and you can see if this person is good for you or not, right? So I'm wrapping up this video and the previous video. So there are things you need to do to work on to become stable and to become a secure person in a relationship. And you do not have to have an anxious attachment style to work on these, right? So I'm kind of recapping now. You need to, as I mentioned before in previous video, you need to regulate your emotions. Work on your big emotions. When you're moody, when you're clean, you need to work on all of these things. When you have big emotions, when you're angry, upset, impulsive, when you are aggressive, angry, want to solve conflict, when you're not calm, you need to work on that. You need to work on communicating in an effective way, right? You need to feel comfortable alone, right? Don't depend on them to feel better, to feel good, to feel happy. You need to reflect on your behaviors. That's how you will change over time, over months, over years. Reflecting on how you behave and correcting them for the future. Next is building your self-esteem, building self-confidence, knowing how to manage conflict. Developing the ability to trust people, to trust others, knowing when to trust, right? That will come with trial and error. And you also need to work on giving your partner space, giving them freedom to be who they are, to do what they want to do. You do not own anyone, even if you're married. You need to be open-minded. You need to not jump to conclusions. When they are away from you, do not jump to conclusions. When they are away from you, when you're separate, try not to text them so much, call them so much. Try not to check up on them. Respect their boundaries, especially if they ask for time, they ask for space. Respect their boundaries. Try not to change them, as I mentioned before. When you try to change someone, you're saying that who you are is wrong. You're attacking their character. People are on their own journey. They will change for themselves. You cannot make someone change. You could help them improve. You could inspire them to change, but to go on a journey to change and be better, that would only come from them. Right? Try not to fix them, rescue them, solve their problems. That would make you exhausted, burnt out. Reduce the criticizing, the blaming. As I mentioned before, that would kill the attraction they have for you, right? Stop lying and manipulating. Stop trying to be someone else. Be your authentic self. Work on your insecurities. Try to relax and just try to relax and forget about them. Maybe they might leave. you anticipate betrayal, you anticipate they're cheating. Like, just relax and don't focus on that. Focus on yourself, focus on your goals, right? So that's the end of this video, and I'm wrapping up the video. Try to watch part 1, right? Most of the information is in part 1. So by now you would know if you have anxious attachment style or not, because I already mentioned the characteristics before. And remember, most importantly, the ways you destroy love: by having problematic behavior and by being judgmental, by ignoring people's boundaries, invading their space. That's how you destroy love. You make them lose attraction for you, you make them don't want to be with you, trying to save and rescue them. And then you doing all of that, you look like a parent, and that is changing the dynamic. That is not attractive. Feeling like a parent-child relationship with your romantic partner, right? So, and I just mentioned in this video the ways you destroy yourself: having a stressful relationship and being anxious very often. I am not responsible for what you decide to do after this video. You might choose to break up, that is on you. You might choose to continue to walk with them, that is on you. You might be with a dismissive, avoidant, somebody emotionally immature, somebody who emotionally unavailable, and you love them and you choose to continue with them. That is your decision. I'm not responsible for any decision you make, right? But your partner, I'm just saying, also your partner could be a negative influence on you, right? You destroy yourself when you feel drained and when you feel exhausted in the relationship. And I mentioned before, like, if when you leave them and you feel this, like you're, maybe they're manipulating you, maybe they are using me, maybe you need to be aware of how you feel when you leave them, especially if you feel drained after, right? So I'm just saying that you destroy love and you destroy yourself trying to do all of these things, and eventually it affects your mental health. Being in toxic relationships, being with somebody who do not have good intentions or who's not mature. It's just that they're immature and they are ignorant, right? So it affects your mental health. Being like this and being with somebody not good for you. You get low self-esteem because they might not give you the reassurance you want. They might break you down. You could feel helpless. You fear abandonment already from like your childhood, and being with somebody who's dysfunctional. It just increases the chance of having bad mental health. It increases your insecurity. You could be paranoid if they can't cheat on you. It's like it increases your anxiety if you already have. It could cause you to have depression or whatever, right? So, and I also mentioned before in the previous video when not to fix a relationship, when there's an unbalanced dynamic, when they don't support you in hard times, when you don't feel like a priority. I'm saying when you feel these things, especially these 3 things, I select these 3 things specifically because it deals with people who have anxious attachment style. There's an unbalanced dynamic because you're always doing the heavy lifting, and then you realize that they don't support you in hard times. They might be avoidant, they might be emotionally immature, they might just be ignorant, they don't know how to be in a relationship. They might also grow up rough, or the lack of attention from their parents and being neglected emotionally. So I'm not like trying to shoot the dismissive avoidance or people who are emotionally immature. I talked about this before in a previous video, why they are like that. Their upbringing, they've been neglected, like you also, in some way. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes you just need to not fix the relationship, right? And what you need to do is be self-aware and have patience with yourself. make a conscious effort to change and to mature, to work on your communication skills, to work on regulating your emotions. Be with somebody who have good intentions. Know when to break up, know when to leave someone. Especially if they're not willing to change, they're not willing to work on themselves. Right? Express your needs, express your wants clearly, directly, and focus on your own life. Right? So the main thing here is, I'm telling you, you need to work on being secure. That's what I'm saying. Just be open-minded, work on being secure, reflect on your behavior, manage conflict, and give them freedom and space to be who they are. Right, so that's the end of this video. And make sure to watch part 1, right? This is continuing on part 2 and wrapping up. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want, you can subscribe, and see you in the next video.